you've got your strap, your belt, whatever you're going to use, just go ahead and have that in front here so it's there when you need it. Hello, welcome to Yin Yoga. So today's focus is going to be more on the fourth chakra, also known as the heart chakra. So this involves getting into the shoulders, and it involves some back bending today. So you'll want to make sure that when we get to camel, which will be our peak back bend pose, if you cannot take your feet or hands rather all the way to your feet, or you want to go beyond just having your hands on your hips, that you've got blocks to support you there to lift up a little bit. We'll also use a sturdy pillow or cushion for some side bending and a supported back bend. You can also do that with stacked folded blankets as well. So you can also have those. And we'll use a strap today in the beginning. So we'll go ahead and get started. So find a nice comfortable seat, and let's just go ahead and just roll those shoulders back into their pockets. Just take it up and around. Good. And then let's just take that more forward. Let's really exaggerate that move. Good. And then from here, good, we'll be at a little bit more ease. Good. Zipping up from pubic bone behind the navel, we'll slightly tuck the chin. Good. So as we breathe, notice if there's anywhere you could soften a little bit more. So I have a tendency to grip at my hips. So we'll relax there. See if you can expand the rib cage on the inhale. And then from here, when we're ready, good, we'll open our eyes, fingertips to the side. Big inhale, reach, and lengthen, touching palms together. Exhale, hands in the heart center. Connecting with an intention. So this can be open-hearted. What would you like to be open-hearted to today? Maybe gratefulness. What are we grateful for? Or I am worthy. We are all worthy of love. We are worthy of a good life. And once you have that set, we'll inhale, take it up, turning palms away, grow taller from crown to tail. Good. From here, before we use the strap, just take your arms out to the side and just kind of find some rotation here from the shoulders. Good. And then palms will come up, taking hands to the shoulders, just moving forward and back here. Good. And then maybe taking that into some circles. And then our other direction. Good. So let's take our strap. Good. So I'm going to thread my strap between my pointer and my thumb here. Be mindful. Actually, we're going to go to the left first. So if you've got maybe a metal or a plastic little clasp or D-ring or something like that on your strap, have that on your left side so you don't have to worry about it dinging you in your face. Good. So we'll take that up nice and wide. Big inhale, exhale. We'll take that over to the left. Good. We'll let that left hand come all the way down to the floor. Good. Anchor that strap to the floor with your hand. Breathe and expand, and we're going to move here. So I'm just going to kind of open up, look behind, and a little bit of a C curve roll. When you do that, you're going to get a little bit of an arc in your band or strap, and we'll open and come back and roll. And one more time, open and come back, look back there. And take that back to center and come back. Good. So we'll just switch that out so that we don't have to worry about a face sting. Good. We'll take that big up. Inhale. Exhale, taking it over to the right. Let that right hand come down now. Anchor that strap into the floor with the hand. Good. And we'll open up, looking behind. And C curve roll, reaching forward. And we'll come back and look back there and come back forward. This time we're going to open it up, not save it, but hold it back there. Good. Coming back to center and coming up. Good. From here, good. Readjust your stance. So we're going to move forward and back. So you want to have a wider grip. Good. And we want to be nice and taut here. So we're just going to take it up Good. Go to your limit and come back forward. And you can keep moving forward and back here as it feels good to you, which might be full range of motion. Maybe not so much. We want arms long. So if you can't go back without this bendy thing happening, take a wider grip on your strap. Good. And then maybe take it somewhere where you can find a sweet spot, which might not be full range of motion. Good. And when you're ready, good. We'll take that up. We'll put this to the side. Good. So I'm just going to kind of move some things out of the way here. So we're going to go to pinwheel, and we're going to just continue to open up a little bit. This will also get us into a little bit of rotation. But I'm going to start lying down on my right side. Good. And then I'm going to take my right arm long in front of me. Your knees can be bent here. That part doesn't matter. Good. And then I'm going to take my left hand right on top of my right, and I want my fingertips to be even here. Okay. So both arms are nice and long. So that facilitates keeping your shoulders in alignment here. From here, that top hand is going to drag. Good. Keep your gaze on it as you open up to the side. Look back there. Belly button is in. You're going to rotation. And then we'll follow it as we come back here. We'll do that. Let me scoot a little bit more forward. 3 more times. So we'll come back and drag. Get it open and come back center. And we'll come back and open and come back center. Let's do one more. So this is kind of a Pilates prep exercise, but it does have its purposes in other types of classes. Good. So from here, when we're ready, go ahead and roll on your back for transition. We'll come into a deeper twist now. Arms out to the side. Good. One knee at a time, coming into tabletop position. So knees over hips, shins parallel to the floor. Take your knees over to the right. Good. And then just let that left shoulder settle in, looking to the left. Breathe and expand. We won't be here for too long. We'll take a twist later in class. It will be a longer one. We're still just kind of opening up here. Good. And take head back to center. Good. One leg at a time, back to center. Good. And then if you want to, we can roll right over to the left side. Now I'm just going to kind of switch around here just so my back is not to the camera. But we'll lie on the left side now. Good. Knees are bent. Good. So your left arm rather, is straight out in front of you. Your right arm is on top. Remember, your fingers are nice and even, so the shoulders are even. Belly button is in. Good. We're going to drag, looking behind us as we open. Hopefully you've got no props in your way. And take that all the way back around and close. And we'll go 2. Good. 3. And move with the breath. Just feel that opening in the chest and the shoulder. And last one. Good. Taking that open and coming back to close. Good. We're going to come back onto our knees again. Not on our knees, onto our backs. Excuse me there. Good. Arms are long to the side. Knees are going to come to tabletop position. Big inhale, exhale. Knees are going to come over to the left. Trying to keep right shoulder grounded. Looking to the right. Let that right shoulder just settle in. Breathe and expand. When you're ready, head will come back to center, one leg at a time. You can take your knees in here, a wiggle, 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 and then find your way onto your belly. So whatever way for you is best to get there is the way that I recommend. Good. Now, if it would feel good to you to just kind of wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. So we're a little bit more open now. So we're going to take this into Sphinx or Seal. So remember, Sphinx is the back bend where our forearms are down. Shoulders are over behind the forearms. We're shining our heart forward. You can also have that support of a folded blanket under the pelvis. Or you can come up into seal, which is going to be different things for different people. So that might be a little bit, it might be a lot. So be where you think you need to be. And you can always start in seal and come down to Sphinx if you need to do that as well. We'll do this one for 3 minutes. So remember, our belly button is in. You find your Sphinx or your seal. I'm going to start in seal and end in Sphinx. So remember, if you're up here with me in seal, rolling shoulders back, heart shining forward. Careful not to hang in the low back. So this is hanging in the low back. This is support in the low back. So be supported. Belly button is in. And we're breathing. Now, a lot of times I think that tight shoulders and a tight neck are related. So while you're here, if you want to just kind of move that neck around, finding some stretches, feel free to go there. So remember, I am loved. I am worthy of love. I am grateful for love. And there's different kinds of love. There's loves that we have with significant others. There's the way we love our friends. There's the way we love our children. There's the way we love our pets. There's the way we love learning knowledge or our hobbies. So we're at the halfway point now. So if you want to stay where you are, you can. If you're going to follow me and come down from seal into Sphinx or move from Sphinx into seal, feel free to do that. Good. We're still shining the heart forward. Shoulders are still relaxed. Belly button is still in, and we're still breathing. And legs should be about hip width apart here. The back will feel better. Remember, if you're in something and you can no longer maintain good breath, good form, we want to come out. And pain, numbness, tingling, burning, never normal. So we want to come out if we feel those sensations as well. Good. And then from here, carefully lower out of there. Make a recovery pillow with your hands and come into that crocodile and just wiggle here for a moment. Good. And then when you're ready, we're going to take hands under the shoulders and press back here, find a little child's pose. So we won't stay in child's pose. We're just kind of countering that deeper extension. If it would feel good to you to kind of come into a deeper flexion here, take your knees closer together. Good. Take your head down. Good. And kind of curl up like a ball. This is actually a truer child's pose, even though this one is not often practiced. Good. And then when you're ready, good. So we're going to come into another back bend. This is puppy or melting heart, one of my favorites. So remember, there's different things here for different people. So option 1, remember, we want to keep the hips over the knees. You can come onto forearms here and then shine your heart forward, tipping your pelvis back. And so that's a modification. You can take a block going right under the chest, or a folded blanket. And for those of us that tend to be a little sensitive a folded blanket might actually feel better to you. So I just kind of take a roll that's already like this. You can fold that again. And sometimes you can make this thicker than a block if you need that, and it's a little bit softer. You put it in the same place, right under the breast line. Or if you don't need that, then you don't need that. You can come into the full. So I'm going to demonstrate the full, but you come where you need to be. Excuse me. And we're going to do this one for 3 minutes as well. So coming into the full, I'm going to start coming onto the forearms. Hips are over the knees. And then I'm going to continue to shine my heart forward, taking my chest to the floor. Arms are a little bit more forward. Your chin can come down if you're okay in the neck. If not, you can take your forehead down to the floor. But you choose where you're going to go, and then zipping up still from pubic bone to behind the navel, we're still breathing and expanding. This is not the most comfortable pose in general, but it's more comfortable the more open you become in your back. And this one took me a while to master. So coming back to intention, what can you be more open-hearted to today? Is it this pose, or is it something else? Stay with the breath. Good. So from here, if you took your chin down, come to your forehead. One hand at a time, comes under the shoulders. Good. Come up from there. And I'm going to give you 2 ways to kind of counter. If it would feel good to you to kind of press up into a mad cat, coming into some flexion here, you can. Again, if it would feel better to you, coming into a child pose position, you can come into that. And just take a few breaths. Good. And then when you're ready, good. We'll carefully come up and we'll prepare for our next one. So we're going to do a side over our cushion, open up the side of the spine, the side of the heart here. So I'm going to use my bolster cushion for this. Now, you can also do this on some stacked blankets. If you've got a couple blocks, you can put those blocks side to side, put a blanket over it so it's softer and kind of take the place of a bolster. So there's different ways that you can kind of jimmy this around, but be where you think you can be with what you have for 3 minutes. So if you're like me and you're using a cushion, You're going to sit really close to the cushion. Good. And then you're just going to kind of side over. So, oh, and something else too. If you are taller or someone that has a longer torso, even if you're not taller, you might want to build yourself up a little bit from where you are, just so you can get in there a little bit deeper. So if you have a bolster cushion, maybe another folded blanket on top of there, so you can be up a little bit higher. So just know that there's different things you can do. But I'm going to fold right over here. Good. We'll go for 3 minutes. I like to take my arms long so my bottom hand can reach up and gently tug. Remember, this is the one where I have a lot of holding on this side, so I tend to always cough here as a release. You might feel that sensation on the other side too. So if you do need to cough, remember, if you're live, you're on mute. If you're watching the recording, no one can see or hear you. But that's your body's way of releasing. So let yourself do that. Otherwise, breathe and expand. You want to breathe and expand right here into this area. And what about forgiveness? So I can forgive myself and others, being mindful that forgiving and forgetting are not the same thing. They're entirely different. Relaxing through the face. Breathe and expand. I just caught myself tightening up my hip. So if that's you, just remember to relax through there as well. Good. So from here, your top hand's going to come to your bolster or to your side. Carefully press yourself up. Be here for a moment. Good. And we're going to go into a supported back bend here before we come into the other side. So I'm going to leave my bolster right where it is. And then I'm just going to turn this way. Good. I've got this here. Good. So I've got my bolster all the way up against me. Good. And I'm just going to guide myself coming back. Now, you want your shoulders to be able to be open here. If you need a head cushion or something like that, a folded blanket you can put under there, something like that, take care of yourself. I'm going to use one today. We'll be here for 3 minutes. Knees can be bent. You can extend the legs long. You can crisscross applesauce. It's all, dependent on how you personally feel. I'm going to keep bent knees here today. But then I'm just going to breathe and relax into this one. You've done some active back bending, so we'll put a supported one in here. Sometimes I feel like I forget to hit the start button on the timer. Not that being here longer would hurt us, but there are other things we need to get to. And as you open up your heart here, bring back in that gratitude. What are you grateful for? Maybe it's just this practice being here. It doesn't have to be something fancy or deep. Okay. So from here, good. Carefully nod your chin. You can use your hands, you can use your elbows, you can roll over to the side. Carefully come out of there. You're going to feel a little bit vulnerable in the back body, so don't rush it. And then from here, you can turn to the other side and we'll get that side bend here. I'm just going to move my bolster to the other side so my back is not to the camera. Good. So we'll take this all the way close. Get that out of the way here. Good. And then when you're ready, good. And then give yourself the time, to set up props if you need to do an alternative here. And then just carefully roll over to the side. Good. Taking that bottom arm long, top arm comes on top. Breathe and expand into this area right here. Just remember, if you need to cough because you're on the side, let yourself do so. So I can forgive myself, I can forgive others. Breathe and expand. Stay with the breath. Good. So from here, carefully release. Take that top hand beside you and carefully push up out of there. Sit here for a minute if you need to do that. All right, now we're nice and open. We're nice and prepped for Camel Pose. So we'll come into that one. So I'm going to move my bolster out of the way. Good. And remember, if you need a block or two here, I'll kind of show you what that looks like real quick. And I'm going to take another blanket here just to give my knees a little bit of extra cushion today. Good. So if you're taking the knee cushion, if you're like me and you've got some friends or something like that on the edge of your blanket, just kind of make sure that your feet aren't going to get caught up in there. So we're on our knees and we're up here. And you want to think about the hips being over the knees. So most people don't take their hips far enough forward. So when in doubt, think about taking your hips more forward. So it's a little bit of an engagement of the glutes. So option one, maybe resting hands on the hips, rolling shoulders back, shining the heart forward. So that's place to be one. Option two, you can take a block to each side of your ankles and kind of come back here if you need that engagement. And then others are going to follow me into the full camel, grabbing at the ankles. Now, I like to have my heels up. Some people are fine taking the tops of the feet down. You have to reach deeper that way, but either way is fine. So let me go ahead and get this started here. Good. So zipping up, rolling the shoulders back, hips forward, find your camel. And how far back your head goes depends on you. We still don't want any crunching in the low spine. So we stay engaged in the front body so that we can protect the back body. We're breathing and expanding. Remember, if it's too much, keep your hands on the hips. Don't come back as far. Staying with breath, maybe coming back to that open-hearted intention. Remember, hips forward. Stay with breath. Good. Nodding that chin. Carefully, carefully come out of there. Find a child's pose. Good. Relax here in this child's pose. Counter that deep extension with some flexion. Good. And notice how you feel. Notice what comes up. Is it a positive energetic shift? Good. And then from here, when you're ready, knowing you can stay here longer if your body needs you to, yeah, we'll take those hands to the side and we'll press up here. So we're going to come into a pigeon pose here on each side before we come into a final twist in Shavasana today. So I'm going to come into that, coming into all fours. I'm going to take my left knee towards my left wrist. And remember, you want this leg to be at an angle. So we don't want it to be parallel to the short edge of the mat. Your hip on the other side and the heel don't have to touch, but we don't want the calf muscle to get tangled up in there either. So if you know when you come back here, you're going to have a lot of space underneath that left hip, maybe kind of fill that in. And then from here, you can stay up or you can fold down. Good. Weight is through center, maybe taking left hip back just a smidge. And we'll be here for 3 juicy minutes. Remember, head can always come to a folded blanket, a block, your bolster cushion. Doesn't have to be the floor. Another gentle reminder, pain, numbness, tingling, burning, not normal sensations. So if you feel those, you want to back off or come out until you don't. And this is active, so we're still taking belly button in here. We're not letting everything just go. Release through the face. Good. And then from here, carefully come up from there, tucking the back toe, releasing that foot. Maybe we need to come forward a little bit here into a seal just to release for a moment. And then when you're ready, we'll take that right into the other side. So from here, right knee's going to come up behind the right wrist. Good. Remember, we want that shin to be at an angle. And then when you're ready, we'll come back. If you need to fill in any space under that right hip, we'll do that. Good. And then you choose. You can be up. You can come down onto a prop. You can come all the way down. 3 minutes here. Maybe right hip comes back slightly. Breathe and expand. Maybe say to yourself over and over, I am worthy of forgiveness. I am worthy of love. I'm worthy of a good life, a peaceful life. I'm worthy of abundance. I am worthy of self-care, which is exactly what you're doing in one form by doing this class. And then from here, when you're ready, carefully taking hands under the shoulders, pressing yourself up out of there, releasing that leg behind you, maybe coming forward again into a little bit of a seal. Good. And then when you're ready, we will find ourselves onto our backs. So we're going to come, I'm going to move this back here. Good. We're going to come to a final twisty here before we come into final Shavasana. So from here, we can take our arms out to the side. Good. Press into the feet. Lift your hips. Take your hips over to the left. Cross your left leg over your right leg. And then we're going to let those knees come over to the right. Trying to keep left shoulder grounded. Maybe looking to the right. We'll be here for 3 minutes. Breathe and expand. Now, if your legs end up not liking this, just undo the cross. You can let them stack. Sometimes depend on where the legs are crossed, the knees are not always happy with this one. So be mindful of your knees. So again, be mindful of pain, numbness, tingling, burning, not normal sensations. Staying with our breath, coming to one of your intentions. From here, head comes back to center. You can undo your legs first before you come back to center, or you can take them back to center together. Once you're back to center, undo the legs, press into the feet, take the hips back to center, and wiggle, wiggle, wiggle here just to reset things. And when you're ready, we're going to take that to the other side. So from here, good, pressing into the feet, lifting up the hips, taking the hips over to the right. Right leg's going to cross over the left leg, and we'll let those knees come over to the left as you look to the right. Breathe and expand, and just like the other side, if this doesn't feel good to your knees and you need to uncross and just have them stacked, then that is okay. So from here, head back to center. You can keep the legs crossed or undo as you come back to center. Once you're there, if you're not already, uncross the legs, press into the feet, take the hips back to center. We'll wiggle, wiggle, wiggle here. And we'll set ourselves up for a nice Shavasana. So I'm going to bring in a blanket here as a neck pillow and then take my bolster underneath my thighs here. So you choose your props. And remember, I like mine in Shavasana, but some people don't like any, and that's okay too. But once you get where you're going to go, see if you can make yourself about 10% more comfortable. And then I'm going to invite you to drop into that heart space, your soul space, and think of an image or something that makes you smile, and see if you can hold on to that. Taking some deep breaths here. Choose stillness or gently take head and neck from side to side. Choose stillness or maybe inviting movement of the fingers and the toes. Choosing stillness or bringing knees into the chest, choosing to keep the upper body grounded, or maybe you want to lift up into a full body hug. And choosing stillness or moving any props out of the way if you used any during your Shavasana time. Taking legs long in front of you, arms long behind you, and reach and lengthen from the edge of the fingertips, the edge of the toes, full body stretch, point and flex through the feet, bend and stretch through the hands, twirling wrists and ankles in one direction, and then in the other. And then from here, whenever you're ready, carefully bending in both knees, and you choose rolling over onto your right or left side, the side that works best for your body in this moment. And when you're ready, we'll press up into a seat, maybe the same one you started with, maybe a different one. And once you find that comfortable seat, fingertips to the side, notice how you feel. Palms up, inhale, reach, 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 and lengthen, touching palms together. Exhale, hands in heart center. Reconnecting with your intentions that you made at the beginning of class or any of the affirmations that we went through. And we'll take our thumbs to our forehead for good and true thoughts, to our lips for good and kind words, and to our hearts for open and loving hearts knowing no effort on this mat is ever wasted. No gain is ever reversed. May you be safe. May you stay well. You have a wonderful day, evening, week, month ahead. Namaste.